Sublimation is crafting meets science, and with science, things don't always go according to plan. Hello everybody, Jennifer Maker here. I've used sublimation in my crafting projects for years, and I've cracked some of the toughest ink transfer cases. If you found yourself asking, why does my sublimation look faded? Or where did all these spots come from? I can help you. Let me show you my tried and true solutions to the most common sublimation issues. Then I'll walk you through the steps to make these adorable garden stakes so we can put what we've learned into practice. It's common for horizontal lines to show up in your final print. Fortunately, it's a quick and easy fix. White lines happen when your print quality is too low because these options try to save ink so the image doesn't get filled in completely. So always make sure your printer settings are set to the highest quality print option available. Then your design will print without those pesky lines. It's normal for sublimation prints to have a dull color or look a little different before heat pressing. The colors brighten during the sublimation process. But you shouldn't have large areas with missing colors or discoloration. These problems are usually caused by something simple like low ink or incorrect printer settings. So try the easy solutions first, like checking your printer's ink levels. If one or more ink reservoirs are low, fill them up with the appropriate ink. But if your ink tanks are full and you're still having issues, you might have dirty print heads or a clog in your printer. In that case, you may need to perform maintenance on your printer, which is a bit more complicated. If you're unfamiliar with printer maintenance features, I have an entire tutorial to help you at jennifermaker.com/588. Ever print a design with lots of dark ink and end up with tiny black dots on your finished projects? We call these pizza wheel marks. They might sound tasty, but we don't want them on our projects. These are left behind when your printer's roller heads accidentally pick up ink and transfer it to other areas of your print. This is usually because the printer is printing too fast for the ink to dry. To prevent this, make sure you're using high-quality sublimation paper, which has a special coating designed to hold sublimation ink. Regular copy paper lacks this coating and can't hold the ink. This special coating is only on one side, so make sure to load your paper correctly too. Your print settings need to match the paper too, so always check that you've selected the correct paper type, usually matte, so the ink goes onto the sheets correctly. Another printing issue that you might not notice until after you've pressed the design is a backward transfer. This happens because the image needs to be flipped or mirrored in order to press correctly. Most printers will let you mirror or flip your image horizontally in the print settings, so be sure to check that box before pressing print. Then your printed image will press the way you want it to. Using the right printer settings is only half the battle of sublimation. The other half is using the right techniques, and sometimes your design doesn't transfer at all. Your print looks right, so you go through the heating process, but your blank stays blank. The most likely cause is that you have the wrong ink in your printer, so make sure you're using high-quality sublimation ink that isn't expired. Regular printer ink won't work, even if you print it on sublimation paper. Sometimes after sublimating, you'll have areas that are lighter than others, where the ink didn't fully transfer. This is often caused by uneven coverage or pressure. Maybe you had a big project and had to adjust your press, or perhaps your blank didn't lay flat enough. To avoid fading, make sure your design is fully covered when pressing. If you're using small blanks, press them one at a time. And for large projects, make sure you don't miss any spots when adjusting your press. And to keep pressure even, always use a pressing mat on a stable, flat surface, like a desk or table. If your blank has an irregular surface or is made of fabric, you can add an insert or pressing pillow to help flatten and stabilize the material too. One of the most common sublimation issues is shadowing or blurring of the design image. We call this ghosting. It's mainly caused by movement during the heating process, but moisture or air pockets between the print and the blank can also be the culprit. The easiest way to avoid ghosting is to develop good pressing habits. First, always preheat your blank for a few seconds to remove moisture. Second, make sure the print is securely attached to the blank with heat-resistant tape. Get creative with placement if you have to. Third, avoid moving your press as much as possible. Hold it in place for the full duration without using an ironing motion. Fourth, always lift straight up when removing the press. And last, always use fresh protective paper for every press. If you've ever had random marks show up on a finished project, you know how frustrating it can be. This is why you should always be sure to clean your blanks. Dust, debris, and even skin oils can leave marks during sublimation. I recommend using alcohol and a lint-free cloth to wipe down most hard blanks. Keep a lint roller handy to clean fabric and to remove anything you picked up during handling too. Always make sure to use clean protective paper for your projects too. Leftover ink can transfer to your project. And if you secure your print with heat-resistant tape, make sure it doesn't get between the blank and the print, or else it can interfere with the transfer. Have you ever had a project that turns out brown? This happens when too much heat is applied to the project. If your temperature is set too high or the timer is set for too long, your project will scorch. So make sure to use the right time and temperature settings for your project. Refer to the manufacturer's directions or my Sublimation cookbook for settings. And never walk away and leave your project unattended. Now that we have an idea of how to avoid common sublimation issues, let's walk through sublimating these adorable plant stakes. You can download my free plant stake designs at jennifermaker.com/745 by saving the project or downloading it from my entire free design collection. To find it, look for libraries in the red bar at the top, then click either Get a Password if you don't yet have one, or click Enter the library. Search the page for design number 745 and click the link to download the designs. If you're not sure how to do this, visit jennifermaker.com/svgs to learn how to download and unzip files. In the PNG folder, you'll find 8 garden-themed designs ready to print for sublimation. Bell peppers, carrots, cucumbers, lettuce, onions, roses, sunflowers, and tomatoes. I made the plant elements with the help of AI art generation and adjusted them with image editing software. Or you can create your own set of plant stakes to match your plants using my special customization toolkit in Canva. I can show you how to use my templates and design elements to create gorgeous designs in my advanced program at jennifermaker.com/advance. Advance is all about helping you level up your crafting with hands-on workshops, fully customizable templates, and early access to my design library, all in a fun, ad-free learning space. Plus, you'll join over 15,000 crafters in a creative community filled with monthly challenges, inspiration, and support. Enrollment may or may not be open when you see this, so don't wait. Visit jennifermaker.com/advance to learn more and see how you can join today. Let's make something amazing together. Lay your blank with the pointed end toward you. Measure the square head's width and write it down. Then open Google Docs in your computer's web browser by going to jennifermaker.com/Google-Docs. Sign up for a free Google account to use the software if you don't already have one. Click Blank Document at the top left to open a new document. To use the space outside the current text area, you'll need to adjust the margins. Go to the File menu and select Page Setup to make the changes. Make sure the orientation is set to Portrait. Then change your paper size to match your sublimation paper and set the margins to 0 to use more of the page. Click OK to apply the settings, and now we can use the whole page. Then click the area that says Untitled Document at the top and type a name for the file. Go to the Insert menu, select Image, and select Upload from Computer. Then select your sublimation design and click Open. I'll use the sunflower PNG. The image might not load in the correct size to fit your blank, so select it and click Image Options at the top. Select Size and Rotation, and keep the Lock Aspect Ratio box checked to maintain the design's proportions. To avoid any white edges after sublimation, I print my designs a little larger than the blank. My stakes measured 2.75 inches wide, so I'll set the width field to 3.25 inches. The height field will automatically adjust proportionately. Click the image and select the Wrap Text icon from the menu that appears below it so you can move the design anywhere on the page. Then click and drag the image to the center of the page. If you'd like to make a copy of the design, right-click the image and click Copy, then right-click inside the document and select Paste. Or repeat the steps to add an image to print a second design on the same page, making sure they don't overlap. Go to the File menu and choose Print. Select your Sublimation printer under Destination. Click the arrow beside More Settings, and then click Print Using System dialog. As we covered earlier, most sublimation mistakes can be fixed right here. So make sure your image is flipped or mirrored so it sublimates correctly. Choose the highest print quality setting to prevent horizontal lines, and select the best matte paper setting so the color is added correctly. Then check that the printer and paper size match yours. Make sure you're using high-quality sublimation paper and load a sheet correctly into your sublimation printer. Check your printer's ink levels so your color turns out great. Then click Print. Allow the print to dry before handling it, as the ink can smear. Once it's dry, it's ready to sublimate. As with all sublimation projects, open a window and turn on a fan to improve your ventilation before beginning. Start by setting the temperature of your Easy Press to 360 degrees Fahrenheit or 183 degrees Celsius. Then set the timer for 5 seconds. I followed the time and temperature settings for aluminum photo panels in my Sublimation cookbook. Inside, you can find the settings for tons of other sublimation projects too. Lay out your pressing mat on a flat, stable surface and cover it with a sheet of clean, white cardstock to protect it from any ink that might escape during sublimation. Next, grab your garden stake blank and wipe away any fingerprints or skin oils using rubbing alcohol and a lint-free cloth. Try not to touch the surface of your blank after cleaning to avoid more fingerprints. Place the blank face up on your pressing mat and cover it with a sheet of white uncoated butcher paper. Cover the entire area of your blank with the Easy Press and preheat the blank with medium pressure for 5 seconds to remove any moisture. Then lift the Easy Press and place it back on its base. Wearing heat-resistant gloves, carefully lift away the butcher paper and set the blank aside to cool. While the blank is cooling, trim your printed design down to a smaller rectangle. Make sure there is at least 1/4 inch of white around the ink's edges. Place the stake's printed design face up. Then center the cooled blank face down on the print, focusing on the square area. It's okay if the print is a little longer than the stake. Use heat-resistant tape to secure the blank at the bottom, top, and middle. Keep it tight against the design. For most sublimation projects, we press with the design on top of the blank. But for the garden stakes, I've found sublimation works better the opposite way. So place the secured blank onto the cardstock with the print face up and the blank transfer side down. Cover your blank with a fresh piece of butcher paper. Make sure the temperature of your Easy Press has come up to 360 degrees Fahrenheit or 183 degrees Celsius, and set the timer for 120 seconds. Cover the entire area of your plant stake with the Easy Press and hold it in place with light, even pressure for 120 seconds. When the time is up, lift the Easy Press straight up to avoid ghosting. Let the project cool completely, then remove the butcher paper, the tape, and the design. Your plant stake is ready. You now have a labeled plant stake to organize your garden or greenhouse. These are super sturdy and long-lasting, so they'll stay planted the entire season. If you need to clean them up, simply wash them in warm water with mild soap and a microfiber cleaning cloth. Then you can reuse them again and again. Wow, we covered a lot today. Sublimation issues can pop up during any part of the process. But I make the mistake so you don't have to, right? Now you can sublimate with confidence. And remember, no problem is too big or too small, especially if we tackle it together. If you want to design garden stakes that match what's planted in your own garden, don't forget to check out the advanced program for my complete walkthrough. And if you'd like to learn more about sublimation, I also have a Facebook group just for that. Come join the fun at jennifermaker.com/sublimation-group and see all of the amazing things that you can make. And I would love it if you would share a photo of your finished garden stakes with us in our group. I can't wait to see what you're growing this year. And that's it for today. Until next time, this is Jennifer Maker reminding you to craft a life you love.